You could say that the secret aim or the hidden purpose of things falling apart is that the original unity could be rediscovered. And the way it gets rediscovered is not because some committee figures it out or some group gets the word and no one else has it. The way it gets rediscovered is one soul at a time. Each of us finding a connection to our deep sense of self and soul becomes a potential agent or someone that can help change the condition of the world. The old statement that I like is change the soul, change the world, transform the soul, transform the world. So that's another reason why I think going to the sense of genius and calling is very important at this time. Not just for us to have a place to stand and an aim or a purpose or a way to go, but also so that we can take our natural gifts and inherited capacities and contribute them to the world that secretly is trying to renew itself. So seen that way, the threat of collapse and utter chaos can actually serve to crack open the inner seeds of the creative genius that already exists in each soul born. I'm also suggesting the idea that each soul born has these gifts and aims, that this is not something that you can separate by class or by culture or by gender or by any other distinction, that it's everyone is born with an inner genius and an aim. The word genius comes from the Latin, and its literal meaning is the spirit that's already there. So I'm using genius to represent a spirit that's already there in each child born. And I'll try to talk about that in a number of ways. But to me, that's the inner spark, the inner speck of star, the inner bit of light that connects us to the cosmos. It was the old understanding. Connects us to nature, but also the cosmos. And in the dark times, and these are the dark times, the soul used to be called the light hidden inside the darkness, and the light hidden inside each of our souls we can call the genius. So I'm wanting to suggest that in conditions like what we're now living in, conditions that are threatening and disturbing and challenging worldwide, that no solitary idea, no matter how great, no single notion or shared belief can shift the weight of the world towards a genuine transformation and a meaningful future. But the accumulated vitality and inspiration and potential genius of many lives lived more fully can become a meaningful make weight that can shift the balance of the world towards renewal. So I guess I'm also saying that when the world is becoming broken and shattered like it is now on a daily basis, we're actually closer to that thing. Because even though the world is so distracting nowadays, it's actually offering less. And when the world can't give us what we want, if we just can get the hint that's trying to reach us, what we're looking for is already inside. One of the great things that's happened in the Western world in the last 20 years, I would say, is that knowledge and practices from the Eastern world have come into the Western world. Whether it's yoga or any form of meditation or any form of spiritual practice you want to find in the East, they're all built around the same idea that the knowledge we're looking for is inside. And that used to be the idea of Western culture, or at least tribal aspects of Western culture. What we're looking for is inside. I'm calling it genius, daimon, the divine twin. And now those ideas have come in really from the East. And I think it's very beneficial because it also represents a revival of practices, because the first problem is you don't know the genius. The second problem is you do know it and now you're struggling with it. And in order to connect more deeply and in order to sustain a connection to the inner genius, we usually need practices. So genius is born, not made. This is an argument I have with the modern culture where people have, books and things, and they say if you do something 1,000 times, you become a genius. Maybe not. I've seen people, I've done it myself, do things over and over, and they got less smart and less awake. You could even say that's the political circumstance right now. Genius is born, and the genius in us is born the second time. The second birth is the rebirth of the genius into consciousness. So, just to say other aspects of this inner genius and this awakening that is supposed to happen at the end of childhood is it comes with a greater sense of imagination and also a deeper sense of resiliency. Genius is the source of resiliency in a person. The closer we are to the genius, the more resiliency we have. And when the world is in upheaval now, we have to be more resilient because we can get knocked down just by looking at the news or just by hearing about another tragedy, and all of a sudden we're knocked down or knocked back. And resiliency is that capacity to kind of bounce back or come back from being knocked down. And the resiliency arises from this sense of the core of the soul being connected to something that is spirit or divine. I also guess I want to make a distinction between what I call the genius myth and the hero's myth. So the only mythological story that has gained real purchase in the Western world during my lifetime has been the hero's myth or the hero's journey. And it's a good story. It's a great dramatic story. But unfortunately, it's been presented as a monomyth or the only story. And of course, that's ironic because myth by its nature means multiple. Most cultures have more than one creation myth. Some cultures have dozens of creation myths, as if creation is happening all the time, therefore it could take many forms. The modern Western world is monolithic, and therefore people concluded that there was a monomyth. It's a misunderstanding of the world and of myth. And so I talk about genius, and I guess you could call it the myth of genius, because it's a spirit that's already in everyone. That means everyone has it. Yes, we have to go out into the world in order to get the calling and awaken what's already inside. But it's already there. And it's in every child, girl or boy, poor or wealthy, whatever. It's in every orphan. It's every child born into a mansion. It's everyone's inner gift. So to me, that's really essential now. And the problem, one of the problems with the hero's myth is that it's kind of masculine in tone. It's kind of muscular in tone. And it has been presented with this idea that you go out and find what you're looking for and you bring it back. And that gives us this exaggerated sense of heroism, which then gets co-opted by would-be dictators and autocrats who claim that they can heroically fix everything, which they cannot. The fix that we're looking for exists inside us. The changes that are necessary cannot come from one person or one political group or one belief system. It's about a reawakening of the very nature of human nature. So calling and vocation are part of the ancient sense of being born into a unique adventure of self-discovery that's aimed at awakening to who we already are. To me, that's different from the general understanding of the hero's myth. And for me, that includes everyone. No one knows where the next great idea in medicine is going to come from, who it's going to come from, what part of the world, what kind of person. No one knows. No one knows where the next great idea about how to solve conflicts is going to come from. I'm saying it's going to come from the genius in someone. It's going to come from a capacity they already have and they're born with, that they came to the world to find and to give. And to me, that's a bigger story than the idea that some people are going to heroically save the whole thing.